I don't know what I thought was going to happen when I used a skill called Smashing. But I need to talk to you. Alright, what's up, my guy?
This is the Reef of Fallen Worlds, kid. It's a dangerous place at the best of times. And with you lighting up the sky as you fell, we should get out of here as soon as possible.
Why were you looking at me when you said that?
I wasn't. Don't be so paranoid.
But when she isn't looking, he raises his eyebrows at you knowingly. So, what's your story?
Ask me again when you get out of here. I don't trust this damned Riff any more than the company we keep.
What do you think of Callistage? You're very ambiguous about what you think of this woman.
A parasite disguised as a Scholark. Don't be surprised if she betrays you before the day is done. Actually, that would be slow for her.
Yeah, I'll ask him the important questions once we're out of here. Ooh, things and stuff. Two cones whirl and spin deliriously around each other, giggling like children being tickled. The air around them smells of sweet burning leaves. Quick fingers. Oh wow, I just 100% succeed. Nice.
Eat?
Well, they are moving pretty slow. You manage to graze one of them with the tip of your finger. Rorn, a voice says, and your vision is stolen from you. A moon hangs over you, but it is not the one you recognize. It's black and in a pearl-white sky. Thick, flat asteroids orbited like petals in the wind. You feel questing tendrils at your ankle. God, what is it with tendrils and ankles? And the hot wind on your face smells of scorched hair and grief. That's my new deodorant line, scorched hair and grief. Your vision returns. The cones hang motionless for only a second, before resuming their giggling dance. Do they have any patterns? The longer you stare at the artifacts, the more you're convinced that they turn faster when their spiraling patterns cross each other. What are you? You're clearly very into conversation. The cones continue whirling and laughing like enraptured dancers, giving no sign that they've heard you. What are you for? The cones greet your question with a split second of hushed silence, followed by delighted peals of helpless giggling.
They aren't for anything. They're from one of the worlds before this one.
Allegan rubs a hand along his stubbled jaw.
Sometimes the Numenera will do something useful. Sometimes they'll turn you inside out. Sometimes they don't do a damn thing that makes sense.
I've often said the same thing about you, darling. Leave the cones alone. Alright. That was informative, I guess. Loot. Aha! Like I said, I'm playing a goblin. I'm a goblin child. 4 Fleetfoot Moss. Lutriated Force. And more shins. Yeah, the money in this is called shins. Okay. Camera, do you want to cooperate, maybe? Oh, cool. A giant glowing green rectangle. Super trustworthy. A matte black obelisk floats in mid-air above the water. It has sharp, curved sides that converge into a glowing tip that brightens or dims with the passing of the bay's faint breezes. I want to touch it. You raise your hand toward the obelisk. Dull green light wells from within the black stone, fixed on you like a furious eye.
I knew someone who did what you're about to do,
Allegan says casually.
Aeon Priest. Beam came out of the top of that thing and ripped his face off. Made a fancy nightlight out of his crystal necklace, though.
Hey, I'm sure you know what you're doing. Oh, hush. At least the poor priest died in service of his curiosity, rather than stumbling across about the coast complaining and feeling sorry for himself. Go ahead if you must, she tells you, ignoring Allegan's glare, but be careful. Oh yeah, Let's hope it doesn't goof up our weapon. Choose the crystal shard. Carefully, you level the shard at the obelisk, and a superheated beam lances from the tip of the structure into the crystal, sending vibrations up your arm and suffusing the shard with a warm, green glow. Sick. I don't know what that did, but I'm gonna guess it was helpful. Did it improve my weapon at all? It did not, but we also got some experience, so I'm happy. God, I read that we're the last... our name is last cast off and we're playing a Jack. I accidentally read Clever Jack off because I'm very mature. Although this cube hovers in the air, you could feel the ground shudder with its vibrations. I'm going to be looking at and examining a lot of stuff because I love this game's world. So, oh. Me and the boys at 3 a.m. looking for beans. I like that guy in white. As you step onto what looks like the back of the enormous construct, 4 strangers approach you. In the lead is a wiry man with parallel scars running from cheek to collarbone on the left side of his face. He gives you a welcoming smile, pulling on gray gloves embedded with pulsing lights. He's about to say something to you when he notices Calistage. Cal! I thought you'd sworn off trawling the reef. Found anything tasty? His eyes travel up and down both you and Alligaron. Odds and ends, Koro. Nothing that would interest you, I'm sure. Her words are calm, but she's gone quite still. What do you want? Right to the point, this one, isn't she? I know most of the draft that scavenges the reef these days, but it's a rare pleasure to see a new face. His smile is disarming. All I want is information. A falling star landed near here not long ago. I don't suppose you were around to see it? I don't trust them. Alligaron hisses in your ear, but loud enough that Calistage can hear it too. Any friend of hers is a cheat or a killer or both. What does that say about you, dear? She gives Alligaron a venomous smile. Killer or not, she whispers, Koro is not a man who can be trusted with unvarnished truth. Tread lightly. Nice scars. How'd you get them? 2 things are more dangerous than death in this world. Asking impolite questions of strangers and playing with Numenera you don't fully understand. My error was in the latter category, and I've grown more careful since. I'll be honest with you. I saw the star, but I don't know where it landed. Calistate. Okay, well, because we could get a 75%. Let's go, boys! Haha! Got it! Nice. Koro studies you for a long moment before sighing. Alright, he says. Well, do let us know if you spot anything of interest. I'd like to say we'd pay you for the privilege, but if we were rich, we wouldn't be down here, would we? See you, losers. Nice thinking, kid. That would have been a fiasco. You figured out why they were here, right? They saw me fall from the sky and came to investigate. Oh, sure, and they just had that ambush ready to go at the same time as we're leaving. No, kid, Calistage sold us out. Excuse me, are you suggesting I had something to do with Koro's plans? Are you suggesting you didn't? An old friend of yours just happens to be waiting for us, armed and outnumbering us, as we return from the greatest find the reef has seen in years. It's too convenient for me. Too convenient by far. Of all the idiotic, paranoid delusions! You really believe this, don't you? You really believe I'd use a half-wit like Koro to stab you in the back rather than do it myself? You see, kid? She'll stab you in the back first chance she gets.
Most likely in your sleep.
He throws up a hand, forestalling Calistage retort.
Look, I don't care. Fact is, I can't trust you anymore. And I wonder why I ever did. This is the last we travel together. I've got enough to worry about with having to watch my back 28 hours a day.
He turns to you.
You coming, kid, or what?
I think, if I remember in the rulebook, there's 5 days a week in this, and each day is 28 hours, if I remember it correctly. You're really gonna walk away from each other over this?
Oh, this is just the last needle that crushed the Anine. You haven't seen 1/10 of her depths, not 1/20th. She's a backstabbing bitch, and this mess here only proves it.
Always a paragon of class, Elegant. If I did have any interest in betraying you, do you really think I would need Quoro's help? Yet this is the things I get for coddling your pain of handle judgmental weakness for so long. I've had enough. She turns to you. Child, I am happy to guide you, but I will not walk another step with this paranoid buffoon.
Finally, something we agree on. Kid, she'll chop your head off and spit down your throat.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
I'll get you where you need to go, and let you sleep at night to boot. It's up to you.
I'll go with Elegant. As you wish. Should you change your mind, I'll be at the order of truth, but don't bring the complainer. A farewell to you, child, and best of luck. You'll need it.
And good riddance.
He gestured towards the stair.
Come on, whatever answers exist are up there.
Bye, Calistage. Well, that was fast. Oh, that was a crisis. Oh, I like how... I know I said this earlier. I like how most of the... How this game has social and stealth-based conflicts play out similarly to the turn-based combat. I think that's really cool. Especially as someone who really likes the role-playing and conversation and mind games and stuff like this rather than just the battles. Not that I don't like the battles, just I have my preferences. Which is why I normally don't build warriors in these games. I build people who are good talkers.
Let's get you to the cult of the Changing God. They're encamped by the clock in the great square here.
Do I want to do that? Or do I want... Hello? What is going... Oh, hell... It's just immediate sensory overload. Hey, we have this. We have this beholder. Everything's a nightmare. Let's talk to some of the spectators then. Okay. Oh. Well, looks like none of them are terribly interested in talking. I don't want to talk to the guards. I don't trust them. Let's talk to this brightly colored gentleman. Pacing the edges of the crowd is a paunchy old soldier with a swaggering stride. At the moment, however, his jauntiness seems overshadowed by worry, and he alternates between watching the execution and searching the crowd as if looking for a miracle. Then his eyes light on you. Aw, shucks. I say, you look like I immediately know what he's gonna sound like just because he starts a sentence with, I say. You look like someone who believes in justice. How'd you like to help a poor soul wrongfully condemned? What kind of help do you need exactly? I don't need anything. But my friend there on the platform is dying. The nightmares his executioners have induced him in spill from him with every word he speaks, and wrap around him like a snake. Excuse me? Excuse me? Like, literally? Jeez. This game is so weird. This man's literally being strangled by his nightmares, which he's vomiting up and wrapping around himself. This game is weird. I know there are but a few strands around him now, but in a few days' time they'll choke the life out of him. I cannot imagine a more horrible way to die. Well, that's not true. I have an imagination that would shame a sailor. You'll need to be swift and willing to hold justice above law, but there is a way to save him if you hear me out. Why is your friend being executed in the first place? A misunderstanding. Reese and I were hired to deliver some expensive brandy to an out-of-town buyer. Would you believe that the bottles were stuffed with state secrets? Reese was accused of selling information to the enemies of SAGUS CLIFFS. They called him a traitor. It was a travesty. The poor lad had no idea what was in there. But you... Wait a minute. Why weren't you arrested then? You were with him. You knew, right? Well, there's a place for talking about what I know and what I don't. This is that place. Clears his throat. If you were part of the scheme, why aren't you up there with him? Luck? I was taking a piss when they came for him. Went through the back window and scampered up the roof. I watched poor Vess being led away from my hiding spot. Swore I'd get him free. I hope it's a promise I can keep. What's your plan? A simple one, but it requires nerve. Listen. It would be nothing for someone of your noble demeanor to masquerade as a city official and ask the council clerk for an archived copy of an old stay of execution. Once you have it, I'll write out a fresh one and add Viss's name. Then we'll present it to the overseer there, and poor Viss will be set free. He spreads his hands. There you have it, a foolproof, risk-free plan. Wouldn't it be simpler to talk to the crowd at the execution? Convince them to rise up and free Viss? I got the hiccups now. Tiberius looks uneasy. Well, you're welcome to try, friend, but leave me out of it. SAGUS CLIFFS are notoriously bloodthirsty, and the execution officials are not known for their sense of humor. You might regret it later, and you'd be alone when you did. This sounds like an extremely risky plan. Nonsense, it couldn't be simpler. Just be calm, confident, and wear a winning smile. Well, you do know my strengths. Where do I find the council clerk? He'd be in Government Square, of course. There's a podium outside the council tower. I can't think of a time he wasn't there. Alright, I'll help you. Excellent! Then you will need a proper story and a badge of office. Fortunately, I have the first, and you can buy the second from Sangolin, the clothing merchant in Government Square. He folds his arms. Once you have a badge of office, you will tell the council clerk you are from the Judicial Oversight Committee, looking into corruption and the commutation of capital sentences. The stay you're asking for is that of a notorious gangster named Cole Carden, who was mysteriously set free a few years ago. When you get Cole's stay of execution, I'll make a copy with Visa's name on it, and you can give it to the overseer who will free him. You see? Simple. Now, if you'll let me join you, I'd be happy to show you around the city and help you with all this, and whatever else you have going on. What do you say? Alright, sure, I could use the help. It will be my pleasure, but let's hurry. There's not a moment to lose. Viss hasn't much time. Alright. Nice. So... what all do we need to do? We have that side quest. So we'll need to go to the Government Square and find a way to repair the residence chamber. So I don't trust Callistage, but the Order of Truth sounds more reliable than the Cult of the Changing God. But since I'm... oh no, I have Allergan with me, the Order of Truth. He was a former member of theirs, so it's probably safer to go to the Cult of the Changing God. Can I look at this thing? You inch closer to the lattice of energy that holds the creature, and as you lean in, the ugly glaive with a sledgehammer slung over his shoulder shouts at you. Oi! No gawking for free! Pay El Ginto or get gone! He glowers at you, hand reaching for the haft of his hammer until you step away from the cage. I'll be damned if we let someone steal from us. Yeah, you have something that is very easy to steal. Evidently. You can just stick this bad boy in your pocket and walk away with no one the wiser. So... Is there a map? Because I am ever so slightly completely lost. Look! Look! It is one of the Death Cheetah's vessels! Ah, can it be?
What fortune, what joy!
Kazmin will want to see you, vessel, and Mimian too. Well, I think we found our people. Kazmin and Mimian. Hello, everyone. That's right, it's me. Hold your applause, everyone. As you approach the duo, you see that they are arguing heatedly but quietly. The petite woman turns toward you. Her hair is unusual, a light, almost yellow color, and her bright eyes dominate her pretty face. Excuse me, my lady. My friend and I were having a discussion, and her eyes fall upon your tattoo, and her breath catches audibly in her throat. Her partner is an unnaturally tall man, gaunt and sour-faced, his voice sonorous, with fingers that twitch and weave through strange contortions. Occasional light sparks in the air as he does. He turns to you and opens his mouth to speak, registers your tattoo, and closes it again. His throat bobs for a moment, and he says, "It is an honor." He nods his head to the two of them. Allegan does.
I brought someone you should meet.
He turns to you.
These are Kazmin and Mimian. They're the leaders of the local branch of your church.
You have our thanks for the introduction, Allegan, our deepest thanks. He eyes the Aeon priest for a moment, as if about to say more, but thinks better of it. He collects himself. If I might impose on your time for a moment, will you tell me about your tattoo? How did you shape it? Do you know why it differs from the others? I don't know much about my tattoo. What does it mean to you? You have been touched by the changing god, she whispers. His mind sheltered in you. He shared his dreams, his power with your mind. And when he left your body, he created you. The tattoo marks you, all of you, with his symbol. It grows and changes as you mature so that it becomes your symbol instead. There are more of you. They call you cast-offs. Oh, that's cool. She cocks her head, studying you. You are welcome here, revered one. We stand ready to serve as we can. Have you any questions for us? What can you tell me about, my sire? You mean the most accomplished inventor of our time? The hero of Sage Cliffs? The man who dodged death himself? The Time Weaver? The man who destroyed the Tabat? Oh, we have so much to say. But perhaps we should wait another time. So, he's rather accomplished, it would seem. What can you tell me about the city? The city your sire built and defended. The cradle of civilization, the center of the empire of knowledge. It is among the great works of humanity in the Ninth World. Built on the foundations laid by unknown creators, it has risen to become one of the preeminent cities on Gravia Sound. Gravia Sound. I'm very bad at words. I've been recording for nearly 2 hours. He pauses. It is somewhat diminished in these latter years, to be sure. Perhaps if the changing god were to return to lead us to glory. So, can you tell me anything more? Anything, helpful?
Many thousands of souls call SAGUS Cliffs their home. They come here for safety, for succor, and the changing god protected them. Writers need to stop using the word succor. Like, I know they think it makes them sound fancy, but all I think of is the Jonas Brothers song now. And also suck. Now you can visit the spires of Government Square, where he once sat, or places where his machines once shifted the city out of time. Your sire even faced the gloom when he was here. She represses a shiver. But you should avoid it at all costs. There is much else to do in the city if you want to walk in your sire's footsteps.
What do you know about the sorrow?
She shudders and touches herself ritualistically on the forehead and on her lips. A monster of deepest nightmare. I have heard that it wants you dead. Every one of the Holy One's creations all dead. I don't know why, but it hates you.
Do you know anything about a device called a resonance chamber?
Rumor and conjecture, nothing more. Idle speculation from those who wish to pretend to knowledge of your sire's motivations, passed along as fact.
He leans out to touch you.
Have you seen it? Do you know where it is, what it does?
I don't know anything about the resonance chamber, but I was told you might. He smiles slightly and spreads his hands in apology.
Not as much as I should like, but we have ways to find answers.
His eyes trawl your face, and it seems as if he is on the verge of understanding something.
It is said by those loyal to your sire that the chamber is the solution to the sorrow, the creature that hunts you all. We don't know, though.
Casmine bows her head slightly.
We take this as an article of faith. The resonance chamber will save you.
Mimian looks at you sharply now, all distraction gone.
I do not recognize you. You do not match any descriptions we have recorded.
She snaps her fingers, as if finally figuring out a mystery.
Wait, let me remember your face.
She studies you carefully.
Oh my, you're new. Are you the changeling god? Can it be?
She reaches out to touch your sleeve, and pulls her hand back quickly.
You see... Well, you'll see!
If I said yes, that could get me in a better position, where they'd be more willing to kiss my ass. But also... Is it worth it? I'm not the changing god. Sorry. I'm just a baby. Allegaron's eyes flicker towards you, and his mouth draws down for a moment, but he says nothing.
Mian nods, satisfied. As I thought, you are a cast-off, one of his children.
He touches you with his long-fingered hands as if in consolation.
There is no shame in such a thing. Many cast-offs have come to our attention, and some of them have sought to deceive us, so that they might seem more important.
He smiles softly.
If you are as new as we suspect, it is better for us, to know the truth of your existence than to bluster and lie.
Crestfallen, Casmine touches your shoulder.
Are you sure you're not...
She catches herself.
No, why would you lie about that?
With a noticeable effort, she wrenches herself into optimism, and she chirps.
But you're new, aren't you? You're new. Have you decided what you knew? What you'll be? Your sire's other children have done amazing things, amazing, and no doubt you will as well.
He lays a hand on her shoulder, and his voice is low, cautionary.
Cass?
She looks away from you for a moment, swallowing sudden tears, and Mimian says,
"We have a request for you."
He gestures towards the clock behind him. dark figures circumambulate? Dark figures circumambulate these clock faces. I theorize that your sire's creation of the time shields that protected this city established a connection with his future selves. Given this, we believe those figures may be cast-offs, or ghosts of cast-offs, perhaps. The living shells of the body your creator has worn previously. His fingers shrug eloquently for him. The clock is unmoored in time, you see. We do not have a knowledge sufficient to investigate. But you might. You have a connection with he who created the clock. You should be able to align it with the present time and uncover who these figures are. A gentle, rare smile appears. If you cannot, at least you will increase our store of knowledge. Casmine smiles bravely, looking between Mimian and you, and says, "And then we can answer the questions you might have. Right, Mim?" Do you know how to fix the clock? Because I just got here 5 seconds ago, lady. We have tried. I've appealed to the order of truth. I've spoken with eminent seekers of knowledge. We have sent for wisdom from as far as the steadfast. A great achievement, you must agree. None have given us an answer. We believe your sire created the device, or had a hand in it. Perhaps. Dismay dances across his fingers. His hungry-eyed compatriot steps in. Perhaps you can find an answer where others have failed, and then we can help you. She turns away. You will have our boundless gratitude, revered one. Alright, we will look at that next episode. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you had fun. I know this was kind of slow, but this is kind of a slow game, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm really getting into the character of the cast-off. I'm sorry if I was a little mushmouth. I haven't recorded a Let's Play in a while, so I hope you all had fun. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to all the patrons who tuned in for the stream. As always, if you want to be one of those patrons, it's only $5 a month on my Patreon, and for $10 a month, you can vote on important decisions, what class I play, all sorts of things. So, as always, my name is Aura, and trans rights.